What do male strippers and seduction have in common? Well, if the wild popularity of the Magic Mike series is judge enough, more than you'd think. That's why today I'm revealing 5 powerful seduction strategies from none other than Magic Mike. Now, I'm not going to really get into the premise of the film other than what you need to know for this video. So if you're interested in watching 6 hours of oiled down abs for yourself, I do recommend these movies and have found them to be rather enjoyable. But this video is not a review, so don't expect that. But what we are going to do today is dissect 5 techniques that will take your seduction game to the next level, starting with a technique that was demonstrated so well throughout the first 2 films, which is the power of priming with playfulness. If you've spent any time on this channel, you have likely heard me say to set the table in your woman's mind before you enjoy the meal of her body. And priming her mind with playfulness is an excellent strategy to accomplish this. The first example takes place between Mike and Brooke, where he and her brother Adam are inviting her to go out with them to celebrate, and when she hesitates, Mike starts playfully calling her over like a puppy dog. Now, this was a risk, but at this point it was really a mild risk because he had already built that rapport with her. So gentlemen, if you're going to try that strategy, just be sure to calibrate. But when she pushed back about it, he kept it light and made a playful joke about it, which was well received. And we see this playful banter continue throughout the date as Mike and Brooke riff about their lives and Mike's job as a dancer. And even when the conversation went a bit heavy as Brooke voiced her concerns about her brother moving away, and he still manages to infuse humor back into it and lighten the mood once again and quickly redirecting and making her laugh. And that's the thing, gentlemen. Laughter is a huge point of arousal for women. Why? It gets us out of our heads. Not only that, it makes us feel safe around you, and it gives us permission to be open and playful ourselves. So making your girl smile and laugh as often as possible isn't a mood killer, it's a mood maximizer. And Mike employs the same strategy very effectively in all 3 movies, as we see in his interaction with Zoe in the second film, as they share introductions with that same humor and playfulness. And this strategy actually works so well that Zoe takes the initiative to spend more time with Mike that evening. She just met him, but things were going so well. It was so playful, so light, so fun, made her feel so comfortable that she actually initiated more time with him. But one of the most hilarious and memorable examples of keeping it light and playful comes from Richie, as he, by the encouragement of the boys, simply tries to make a lonely cashier smile by dancing for her. Now, the dance was sexy-ish, but it was mostly hilarious and adorable, especially his closing line.
How much for the Cheetos and water?
Another seduction strategy that these movies nailed is creating an emotional connection. But this is another aspect behind the principle of setting the table in her mind before you enjoy the meal of her body. And I did not expect to see it demonstrated so well in these films. We see this in the first movie, where Dallas, the brains behind the operation, accomplishes this for his female patrons by creating individual stories to be told through every dance sequence. And what did this do for the ladies in the audience? Created mental stimulation and emotional investment. And that's a huge part of the seduction game, gentlemen. Stimulate her mind by taking it out of her present reality and placing it into an erotic one instead. Do this through unexpected gestures, masculine acts of pursuit, and novel experiences, which we'll talk about more later in this series. But in the second film, we see a feminine approach to this same principle at Rome's place. Not only was the location itself gorgeous, which doesn't hurt, obviously, but the attention to detail is something that you can mimic in your own life, in your own home, in your own dungeon or play space. It's the small things. It's the attention to detail that can make or break a moment, especially if your woman struggles with hypervigilance or getting stuck in her head. For instance, I had an appointment the other day at a beautiful place, and as I was waiting for my meeting in this gorgeous lounge type setting with a modern design, large fireplace, lush furniture, lovely wood floors, and a vaulted ceiling, I'm looking around and I notice water damage on the floor all along the sliding doors along the back wall. And instantly, the room and the meeting lost its charm. And I began to view this place as cheap, unkept, or ill-managed, all in a matter of moments. All in a matter of moments. But the same principle can apply to the positive when you're seducing your lady. Think mood lighting, fresh flower bouquets, flower petals, candles, or incense, and some sexy music, of course, which I've already taken care of for you with my free 3-hour, not 1, not 2, 3+ hour BDSM playlist on Spotify. Just follow the link in this video's description to start listening now. But Rome also brilliantly tapped into the feminine experience with her dancer Andre, who also performed custom poetry and music for the women, encouraging them to embrace their desire for the soft, romantic, and feminine aspects of seduction. But soft, sweet, and romantic is not the only thing the feminine craves, gentlemen. As a matter of fact, we're going to talk all about the alchemy of opposites here in a moment, because it is quite delicious. But for now, another thing that these narratives in dance accomplished was to awaken the shadow appetites of the women. And when I say that, I mean repressed desires. You see, I've found that many women deal with a great deal of shame about their sexual desires to the point they dare not even utter them. Any of you ladies can relate, can identify? I run into this all the time with my female clients, and that's why it's a highly seductive experience for your woman to feel the freedom, to feel her feelings, to feel that desire, to feel that lust, that passion, that surrender, that release. And gentlemen, when you show up with the intention to awaken your woman's lust by giving her the space to explore those parts of her that she otherwise denies, that is where we're getting somewhere. No, she doesn't need permission. Women don't need permission from men, but many women do feel profoundly held with security and validation when their partner gives them permission, gives her permission to identify as a sexual being with valid desires. So gentlemen, ask her what she wants. Demand that she tells you what arouses her, what she's fantasizing about. Push for it. Hold that space for her. And a great way to do so physically is by making her feel soft and feminine with you. We see this done so beautifully at Rome's place when Augustus shows off his masculinity and strength by giving this lovely queen an experience that she either hasn't experienced in a while or at all, by making her feel small and feminine and delicate. Not only was this incredibly nurturing and speaking directly to the feminine energy that she needed to release, but the sheer novelty of the experience was also incredibly arousing. So that's another point here, guys. Keep things new and exciting. Don't let routine become rote. And that's what Rome executed so well at her place, the sheer variety. The women had the power to go from room to room and choose their pleasure. This kind of empowerment awakens the feminine expression. A principle Mike communicates in the final film, but expresses so well in all three, is the power of getting and keeping the yes. Now, getting the yes is about consent, but we can't just stop there, because you should always have a completely mindful, willing, and uncoerced choice to say yes, and the ability to revoke that yes at any time without fear of repercussions. Getting the yes is also about building desire. And one extremely effective way to build arousal is to tell your woman no. But like in an erotic context? Yeah, I know. It makes no sense, but it fucking works, okay? That's why tease and denial is a thing, okay? Because it encourages arousal, excitement, and expression, but removes any hint of performative pressure, because she's not allowed to perform. She's not allowed to get too excited. She's not allowed to orgasm. She's just allowed to feel. And that's why I think Dallas's opening speech before the show was so brilliant, because he's essentially teasing and denying the entire audience and removing any sense of pressure or need to feel responsible. Why do you think people drink or smoke or otherwise numb out? It lowers or removes inhibitions. That's essentially what this strategy does as well, by removing pressure and encouraging expression. Another highly effective way to get the yes, to build your woman's desire, is to lead with affection and tenderness. Mike demonstrates this at some point in every film when he begins his dances. He usually leads by kneeling and or giving a sweet kiss on the woman's hand, usually both. But he doesn't just stop there. Don't just stop there. Stay present with your woman and offer validation, words of affirmation, and even more affection. Never too much affection. And we see Ken do this so well, as he has a very present and beautiful and intimate moment with May, soothing and validating her insecurities, stoking her greatest fantasy, and holding her in his arms as she processes some of the shyness and arousal from the beautiful exchange. Our final point is a powerful principle that many women crave, but many men fail to understand. And this is the alchemy of opposites. And if I were to really sum up what I believe to be the mass appeal of these movies, of the Magic Mike series, it would be the alchemy of opposites.
And you know how we like our kings to be really, really sweet and really, really hard all at the same time.
Rome, spot on in her assessment, right, ladies? Many of us crave the sweet and the hard, or respectful aggression, as I've previously phrased it. It's about the delectable combination of affection and aggression, tenderness and savagery, nurturing and manhandling. That's why Mike's move of kissing the woman's hand before he gives her a dance is such an effective way to get and keep the yes. But once that sweet connection is made, it's time to get hard.
I am ready. I'm ready to get hard.
You're going to show me that you can get hard.
Show you. I'm going to get so hard because I'm going to show you how hard.
That's what I want to hear. So let's go home and get hard.
Whoa. And when I say that, I mean to express that masculine energy, guys. We see this in every dance throughout the films, but this was particularly illuminated for me in Mike's pony dance, where we see many masculine movements, acts of physicality, and even manhandling an audience member out of her chair. That full masculine expression is what the awakened feminine craves to receive, the pleasure of passionate pursuit. So, ladies and gentlemen, have you seen any of these movies? And if so, what was your favorite seduction moment and why? Comment below and let me know. And be sure you're subscribed and have those notifications turned on, because in the next video, I'm dissecting 2 of Mike's most memorable performances from the final film to reveal why his style is so effective and how you can emulate it with your own lady.